Hello. Can you hear me? Perfect. So good evening, everyone. So it's a pleasure to be here together with Verena from Everphone, and we will talk about a little success story, the implementation of accounting at Everphone, and we had a lot of special requirements. So as you can see, it's about a company which is exit ready, so who wants to make an exit soon and who has a lot of reporting issues to think about. So first of all, some words to myself. I'm CFO and Senior Financial Consultant at Syscoon. My background is group accounting, consolidation, valuation of companies and financial analyst. And my passion is to make Odoo ready in Germany to cover all the accounting things without DATEV, which is pretty complex in Germany. Some words about Syscoon. So Syscoon is an Odoo partner. We are a team of finance and accounting specialists. We focus, as I already said, on accounting standalone in Odoo. So we don't want to use external tools like DATEV and things like that. We are also developing a lot of apps which are necessary to fill the gap which we have in Germany. So some functions are not within Odoo. So for that we have a lot of accounting apps. For example, the Elster interface, which is providing the VAT statement. Also, we act more like a partner for other partners. So we are collaborating a lot with other Odoo partners to support them in all financial issues. Our product is, of course, consulting. So we start with an analysis workshop, go live, and things like that. But on top of that, we have also a special product which is called, or we call it accounting as a service. So we offer our customers, those who want to, also to do their bookkeeping. And also for special financial topics like group accounting and controlling, we have experts in our team. Last product is my most favorite one. It's a screwed up accounting. So we have many customers who are already using Odoo for 1 or several years and who have really messed up with accounting. And there we go inside and we try to fix everything, which is really complex very often with a lot of pressure, but that is somehow very important in the Odoo world. I hand over to Everphone, Verena.
Thank you. My name is Verena. I'm working with Everphone. I'm a product owner for finance, and I've mainly focused in my product career on logistics, payment, and finance topics. My colleague Stefan is now sitting in the audience. We plan to have him on stage. He did the project with us, so we are basically, the three of us are the main team who did the implementation together. He had quite some experience implementing ERP systems with different systems, so he could solve us from quite some pitfalls. And we both joined 2022, 2023, and the big project was then the ERP implementation with Odoo. But what is Everphone? Everphone is offering device as a service. What's that? We basically provide companies with all device equipment they need, so mobile phones, tablets, laptops. If you need a full workplace equipment, accessories in a rental model. So the idea is, you see the challenge, the big chaos, it's a lot of people, a lot of departments being part of the journey until you can equip your employees with devices. You have high cost, you need to buy them. So you have a lot of fixed budget there, a lot of fixed cost. You have unpredictable costs because phones get lost, need to be repaired, all that, and it's a lot of administrative effort. And here we come and offer our solution. We have a framework with a lot of options to make the service fitting perfect your needs. So we do analysis together towards your needs. We can configure the system, can also develop, if needed, some additional features, and then we manage your fleet, we distribute, we sometimes, like once in a while, you need an upgrade to a new model, new iPhone model, or whatever, then we manage the complete rollout of the new devices. And even if at the end, if your customer, if your employee is leaving the company, giving back the device, or something is broken or lost, we take care of that. So we take over the house and solve this in a complete solution. And I think one of the most important parts, or the best argument besides the cows, is that all the fixed capital is with us, and we cover that, so you have not the money that you need to spend. A framework for success, the project, what was it? So we basically were a team, Syscoon and internally, 2 consultants on Syscoon side, and the lead engineer backed up, of course, by the team, the whole company if needed. Internally, we were my colleague Stefan, so the ERP manager, myself, and we have internally already an Odoo IT team, which helped a lot, of course, and as we used Odoo already for the warehouse. The timeline was a 7-month path, so decision was made in May 2023. We still checked all other ERP systems, pitches were made, and a decision was done, and at the end we decided for Odoo in May. June and July we used for scoping and kickoff, and then all the developments that we're going to talk about now were done internally at Everphone and also from Syscoon side, and we did a big migration January the 8th and successfully closed the topic with a monthly closing from January. If you have a tight deadline and you want to have a high quality product, then usually it's getting really, really expensive. So that's why we wanted to make sure we do not just exceed budget. So we had a fixed budget that we also managed to stay inside, and it was a small goal-oriented incentive part of the contract. So why did we choose Odoo? Yes, one big argument towards Odoo was we know the system, we have an IT team. It was easy to have a demo system, to really take the time, dig into it, check out what is Odoo capable of. We had a known and valued partner at our side from Odoo or projects before, so we knew we will be a good partnership to work together. And of course, an internal IT system is always super good for knowledge, for fast reaction if something is broken, or for small adjustments that are needed. So, Odoo core functionality we loved. We can customize reports. We do this a lot, actually. Account tags, we use a lot the multi-company. I think we have like 10 active companies now, and also 3 more for consolidation purpose. So that's quite an important feature for us. Payment reminders, that needs to work. Easy data upload. It's not always integrated with other systems. So from Pleo, like now it's sort of differently, but like Pleo credit cards data, for example, also for the migration, of course. And our accountants really like the filter and sort functionality. Handing over. Okay, I'm taking over again. So those slides should have been presented by Stefan. Now, this is Odoo standard. What Everphone did was they
learned how to create those financial reports, and they use them very extensively. So here's an example for intercompany reconciliation. Sorry. So we see here the different intercompany accounts for different companies. So we have, for example, receivable and payable, or expenses and revenue. And as you can see, although we have hidden the figures, everything goes to zero. Yeah? So they made sure that for all 10 companies, everything is synchronized, and if there is a difference, the group accountant can see it here directly. Yeah? So this was done without any help from my side, except that at the beginning we did some workshops about the financial report builder. Very important in Germany is always that customers ask us, do you have a BWA? BWA, it means basically an internal P&L. And Odoo is not offering that out of the box for Germany, but of course you can build it very easily for yourself. And that's what Everphone did, what Stefan did, basically also without my help. So here we have a lot of reports which are customized to the Everphone needs. And as far as I have heard, all the management team is working with those reports extensively. And I don't need to tell anyone, you have all those drill down and drill through capabilities, so it's really useful for management team. One big issue, because Everphone has a lot of stakeholder who wants to have the numbers in different ways, was the topic multi-ledger. So multi-ledger means I need to report according to German GAAP, also Handelsrecht, to tax, to German tax GAAP, and to IFRS. And we decided to build up a whole new app for that. So we have a multi-ledger app. So if you do a posting, this posting will be done in different ledgers. And of course you can also do adjustments only in one ledger and so on. Most complex there is the topic fixed assets, because you have different depreciation cycles, and you have also different movements sometimes. Yeah? So we decided to build up a complete new asset app, which is separated from the accounting app in the first step. So we make every month, we have our asset movements in 3 different ledgers, and then at the end of the day we make a batch, and then it will create journal entry. So it's a little bit different to the Odoo approach. In that case more powerful, because most of the devices from Everphone are fixed assets. Yeah? So it's a huge amount of assets we have to deal with, not like 100 assets or 1,000, it's many thousands assets we have to deal with in that app. So here in the screenshot you see that we have here this asset ledger, so we have a local ledger, and then we have those asset ledgers, and we have different values on one asset. Also important is the topic of taxes. So we have many things we need to configure there, so tax finding, tax validation, and then we need to send, at the end of the day, we need to send the tax declaration, the VAT declaration, to the authorities. You can do that manually, but most companies want to do that via an API. So we have built that, so that is our Elster app, yeah, where you can send the report directly to the financial authorities and get a confirmation back. Now I hand over to Verena.
We definitely needed a more precise approval approach for the bills. One main requirement was that we have a multi-stage approval process depending on the bill amount. So I don't know, until 2000, maybe the team lead can approve, but above that it needs to go to a higher stage approver. So you can set up based on analytic account and bill amount which approval stages you want to have, and then we based the app on the existing approval setup in Odoo, but added quite some functionality. So the approver is getting informed via email that exists, but we enrich the email with all information you need to approve or refuse an email. You can approve or refuse via email just by replying approved or refused and a note. You can forward the approval, you can approve on behalf if someone, we have sometimes a moment where the higher stage approver knows about the bill and instead of explaining, it just approves on behalf, makes a note, yeah, that was something, that was this and that. You have, we cover also monthly closing, we cover monthly posting, automated monthly posting bills, and we also cover absences by, you can activate your absence and then the approvals are all moved to a representative and also back once if you inactivated after your vacation.
I take over again. So the open item list. Yeah, the open item list, we call it that way. It's basically the same or similar to the partner report. So you see all your unreconciled bills and invoices. But there's a huge difference. If you have an auditor who wants to audit your annual closing, usually they want to have such an open item list backdated to the closing date. So they want to have a list how it was back on 31st of December, for example. And this feature is not provided by Odoo. So we had to build that report also that is required in most German companies. Also you have some additional information like invoice date, invoice number and so on. Of course, foreign currency you can also show, it's hidden right now. So basically you get all information about your partner, but for a certain effective date, backdated. Another wonderful feature is the payment proposal list. So also a common tool in Germany, in other software. So in Odoo Standard, usually we go by filtering for our unpaid bills, and then we select those bills we want to pay and create a payment batch. For bigger companies, this approach can be a little bit tricky if they have hundreds or thousands of not paid bills, and for that usually you take the payment proposal list. So you create a payment proposal list with all of your not paid bills, and then you can unselect, can take away those you don't want to pay. That is all done by a bookkeeper, by an accountant, and finally you have a proposal. This proposal can then be checked in an approval process by the finance manager and finally be approved by the top manager, I don't know, CFO or CEO, whatever. The moment where it is approved, the bookkeeper can then create the SEPA file download and proceed the bank transfer. So this is a very cool help for companies who have several bank accounts and who have, which have a lot of unpaid bills. Okay, here on this slide, just some more improvements. So we have the movement types and topics, one of my most favorite apps. So movement types are to build registers. So for example, for provisions, you have an addition, you have a reversal, or you have a consumption. That are movement types. For assets, it's known, of course, you have addition, you have disposal, you have depreciation. Also for equity you need that, and for loans. And those movement types are the basis for the indirect cash flow statement, which is necessary for your annual report, for bigger companies at least. So the indirect cash flow statement is one of the most complex calculations. And also there, together with Everphone, we built a model where you can very easily create those this report once you have done the setting, which is a little bit complex, and then you have 100% transparency for the auditor, which is very important because, as I already said, usually this report is very complex and done in Excel. Account description is something you already know now from version 19, so we had that already in version 16, so you can see the little screenshot. Everphone did indeed description for each account, where they say what you should do on that account and what you shouldn't, so that the bookkeeper, when he's doing a journal entry, that he can see is it the right account or not, and of course also for searching. Everphone, as already said, has a lot of companies, and most of them are in Germany. So all those German companies share more or less the same chart of account. In Odoo, chart of account is always a local setting, except if you work with branches, but that was not available there. So we have the problem that each company has an own chart of account, but they should have all the same accounts, except bank accounts perhaps. And what we did there was to build a little copy function where when you create an account, you can copy it to all other companies or to some of the other companies to use the accounts everywhere. Last thing, the partner number. One issue we have in Germany with the accounting or with the partners is that we don't have a unique identifier. At least not a unique identifier the bookkeeper can see. And for that we have this little partner number. It's a small improvement, but the user can search for that number everywhere and he can see that number. So if you have a contact, a partner, I don't know, you have 20 times you have the partner Siemens, then it makes it easier to know which one is the correct one. Now let's talk about some success factors. We don't have much time, so we need to speed up a little bit. So it was very important that we had a very high management attention from Everphone side. So Everphone, CFO and the CPO, the technical guy, they really focused on that project and they really made pressure in all directions, and that was good. We had weekly reviews and steering board meetings and things like that. All decision makers in that project were really committed to Odoo and to the timeline. So everyone was doing as much as they could. There were no discussions about who's responsible for what. Also, what was really special was that we had, as already mentioned, a lot of IT knowledge within Everphone. So many tasks have been done by Everphone themselves, like user rights, templates, and many other things. So Syscoon could really focus on accounting. That was great. Finally, the most important persons. Of course, we had a very detailed specification at the beginning with all requirements. And then we had, very importantly, we had the project manager, that was Verena, and Stefan as a key user who had a lot of knowledge already from previous projects and who helped us not doing the same mistakes as always when you do an ERP implementation. And also they took a lot of ownership, and I can say Verena also pushed a lot. She made pressure, she delegated, and she made sure that we could hit the deadline. It was only 6 months. That is not a lot for such a big project. We had a very good budget at the beginning, and we were able to stick to that budget. That was very important for all of us, and of course a timeline and dedicated tasks. So now I hand over to you.
Yeah, also from our side, definitely partnership and the execution at the end. We had an experienced partner consultants that know finance and accounting, have worked there, have the experience in working there, have a good Odoo knowledge, that really made it very fast in decision making. How do we develop? How do we decide to do this process? How can it be solved in Odoo with the best pragmatic approach? We also had in the engineering side a good mix between pragmatic and high quality standards, and an absolute commitment. I loved the direct and efficient communication. There was no Chinese whispers, no being postman and all the information is lost on the way. We just slacked directly. Was it me and the developer or Florian with Stefan? We had a lot of alignments, but not unneeded ones. So no time was wasted. And in general, a very big focus on get it done right. And I think the biggest, the best conclusion is it was as good that we are already preparing the next big project together. So obviously we're happy. And we're right on time.
Time is over. So, haben wir gut gemacht.
And if you have any questions, you find us at the Syscoon booth, right in front of the audience here.
Yes.
Thank you.